What is going on, YouTube, and welcome to a Friday edition of Mo Better Sports. As always, I'm your host, Antonio, aka Mr. Mo Better. And we have got a lot to get into today, guys, so we are just going to hop straight into it. We are less than 24 hours away from taking on the Kentucky Wildcats in DKR here at home in Austin. It is going to be a beautiful 2:30 p.m. kickoff. Not too early, not too late. Just that sweet spot right in the weekend, right on a beautiful Saturday. Hopefully the weather stays nice as it is today. It's been a little bit chilly in the mornings, but it's been beautiful in the afternoon. So hopefully we get a really beautiful day for some great, entertaining football. Because contrary to what most people probably believe, I do not think this is going to be just a cakewalk, walk in the park, easy, get in, get out kind of game against the Kentucky Wildcats. Yes, I understand. They are 4-6. Yes, they've been blown out by Florida. They've been blown out by Auburn. They've been beat by Tennessee. They have lost really big against some teams that they really shouldn't have. Not counting Tennessee. Of course, Tennessee is a top 10 team in the country. Playing them within 10 points is actually very good considering, the play of Kentucky for the season. However, the 4-6 record does not tell the tale of the Kentucky Wildcats as a football team. This is the same team that played Georgia to a 13-12 game. They literally lost in the last few minutes of the game. They were winning a majority of it. They played them really tough, played them really hard. The defense had a whale of a game against Carson Beck in that Georgia offense. They beat Ole Miss. The same Ole Miss that just put up 63 points against this Arkansas team that we struggled against last week. That Ole Miss team got beat 20-17 by Kentucky, right? Again, losing close to Tennessee. This Kentucky team is very strange, in my opinion. It's hard to really get a gauge on what they are because they're so up and so down. They have really high points and they have really low points, right? It's not their, and maybe that's what describes them. Inconsistent, not lack of talent. They do not have a lack of talent on the team. They're not the most gifted. They don't have the most gifted quarterback in Brock Vandagriff, but they have some really good pieces around him. His running back, Demi Sumo Kimbaye. God, I'm brutalizing that. I know I am. So I'm just going to call him Demi Sumo. Demi Sumo and Jamarion Wilcox are two very, very good running backs. And they don't have gaudy numbers, right? Demi's only put up 517 yards total rushing on the season. Jamarion Wilcox has only put up like 480, I believe. Both of them averaging right around 5 yards a carry. But they run very, very hard. A very hard running football team. And that is not reserved for the running back room. Brock Vandagriff, he may not be the most elite arm. He may not be the best decision maker. But the dude will scramble. He is a legitimate dual threat. Much like Taylon Green was last week. He is a legitimate dual threat. He's not quite the athlete that Taylon Green was. However, his willingness to take off and run is much higher than any quarterback that we've seen at any point this season. He will tuck the ball and run as soon as he feels like he's got a lane. So that's something that we'll be needing to watch out for. Outside of the running game, they don't have huge threats in the wide receiver room. Outside of Dane Key, I think they have one other wide receiver on the team that has over 350 yards receiving. Dane Key is the only receiver on the roster that has 600 yards receiving or more. And I believe he has just over 600 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Dane Key, okay, he has over 680 yards receiving. The next leading receiver for the Kentucky Wildcats is Barryon Brown with 300 yards receiving total on the season. 300 yards total on the season. And then following him is their running back. Their running back is their third leading receiver with 18 receptions on the year. Needless to say, this team is not one that is going to really threaten you through the air. They are not a team that's going to put up gaudy points and a lot of numbers and high passing yards. None of that. Much like Arkansas, I would even say even more so than Arkansas, this is a running football team. They want to put the ball on the ground 35 to 40 times a game. They do not like putting the ball in the air. And part of that is because they don't have the quarterback to put the ball in the air, which sounds ridiculous. That's what the quarterback's job is usually supposed to be. But Brock Vandagriff is averaging 57.8% completion on the season. He has thrown for less than 1,600 yards. He's averaging 154 yards a game, 9 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Right? That's the kind of quarterback we're dealing with. Again, not the best decision maker, but a hard-nosed football player. Watching Brock Vandagriff play reminded me a lot of Diego Pavia, but maybe even less talented of a passer than Diego Pavia, which Vanderbilt is another team that Kentucky lost to as well, 20-17, I believe that game was. So by no means is our defense going to be threatened over the top, and that's what I truly think is going to just make this a really long game. Maybe not as high scoring on the offensive side for Texas as we would like. You know, hey, let's just call it what it is. Last week, myself, much like many other people around the country, many other fans around the country, I'm sure, I believe there's going to be a lot better performance against Arkansas. I thought that we had a recipe offensively to beat Arkansas and beat them handily. We showed up defensively, which we do week in and week out. And I think that's the one thing that we can always depend on with Texas is that they are going to show up defensively. You know, Malik Muhammad, Jahdae Barron, Jelani McDonald, Michael Taft. The secondary is going to show up. The front seven, they're a lock to show up week in and week out. I don't think there's anywhere on the defensive side of the ball for Texas where you can point across to Kentucky's offense and be like, this guy can beat this guy one-on-one. I truly don't think that there's one single player on Kentucky's team offensively that can beat any opposing Texas player one-on-one. I really don't. So I expect the defense to have a very, very big game. Again, I wouldn't be surprised to see a multiple turnover game. This Kentucky Wildcats offense has fumbled the ball 17 times on the year. 17 times they have put the ball on the ground. Now, they've only lost 4 of those fumbles on the season, but putting the ball on the ground 17 times in one season is outlandish. Can you imagine the conniption that fans and coaches would have on that Texas sideline if we fumbled the ball 17 times in 1 year? We have conniptions when we fumbled twice, 3 times in 6-7 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So they don't protect the football. They are not disciplined offensively. They have playmakers. That's the thing. The thing with Kentucky is that they have playmakers. And I really think where their strong point is on the defensive side of the ball. Their defense plays with some tenacity. They are good. They have good eyes. They have multiple players that can really get after it on defense. Starting with their defensive tackle, Deion Walker. He is a massive force right in the middle of the line. Big old plug, number 0. Great in the run game. He is really effective rushing the quarterback as well. They have a couple of solid defensive backs. Zion Childress, number 11, is the one that really stood out to me when watching their games. He's a dog. He's got a nose for the football. He reads quarterback eyes very well. He's very disciplined in zone coverage, and he knows how to make plays. He is a playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. They have a couple of others that they get in the mix. But nobody really stood out to me like Zion Childress did. Maybe number 25. I can't remember what his name was. Number 25. Let me just look it up real quick so I'm gonna get this wrong. I know. Jordan Lovett. Sorry, that was the other one. Jordan Lovett. Another really, really good defensive back for them. And I think, again, say it again and again, but I think that's where Texas is going to have to improve the absolute most from Arkansas to this week. It's not going to be on the defensive side of the ball. It's not going to be facing Kentucky's offense, right? I don't think we are going to have too much of a threat on that side. Not saying that they can't pop big plays and that they are not going to have any explosive plays, because it always can happen. No defense is perfect. No players are perfect. Sure, it can happen. Where we are going to see Texas challenge the most is on the offensive side of the ball. And what makes it even more challenging is that we're going in to face a team who apparently has taken a page out of some other teams' playbooks, and Kentucky, I'm talking about, will run a 3 high safety look all game against Texas if they have to. They ran it against Ole Miss a lot. They gave Ole Miss a 3 high safety look a lot. And look what it did. It held one of the highest scoring offenses in the country, held them to 17 points and got them a win, right? And they were getting after Jackson Dart on that line of scrimmage. The D-line played out of their minds in that game. They had several sacks, several near sacks, missed opportunities. They are a tenacious defense, and they are not just going to lie down. And I think that it makes it even more of a big deal when you have a defense like that I'm sure that this defense knows that they're kind of the heartbeat of the team, right? They are the ones that have got to come out and set the tone. You're coming out to play one of the most disliked teams, one of the teams that everybody loves to talk about, one of the teams that everybody likes to downplay the success the team is having. And I think it's almost like everyone's Super Bowl. Everybody shows up to play Texas. They're going to bring their best effort. They're going to give us their best shot. And we should not expect anything less than that. I don't think that we are. I think the key for Texas, without a doubt, is going to be getting the run game going. I promise you, if Texas puts the ball on the ground 30, 35 times in this game, we will win the game by double digits. We have got to get our run game established. None of the swing routes and the motion halfback swings and the eye candy and screen plays and that's all great. But when you have a defense like Kentucky, when you have a defense like Kentucky, they're very big, they're very athletic, and they can run side to side. They're a challenge. You cannot just dump off swing routes and expect your offense to win in the open field every single time. Now, do I think that Kentucky's defense has an overall better composite than Texas's offense? No. But they are going to be looking to hit. That team plays very, very tough. They're going to be looking to hit you. They're going to come full speed. Not that every team doesn't do that, but there's going to be no lie down, right? There's going to be no off time. They're not taking no plays off. This is going to be a team that wants to come in and pull the upset off. And why wouldn't they, right? Number 3 team in the country, which we could talk about the college football playoff rankings, but I don't even know if I want to get into that. It just makes absolutely no sense. And that will get us way too off topic. All I'm going to say about that is I love how everybody complains about Texas and how easy their schedule is with the 38th ranked schedule. However, the number 1 team in the country in Oregon has the 52nd ranked strength of schedule and just beat a Wisconsin team 16-13, took them all the way into like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Beat a 5-4 Wisconsin team 16-13. The same Wisconsin team that got blown the fuck out by Alabama 42-10 earlier this season. Nobody's talking about how fucking easy Oregon's schedule is because they're undefeated. They haven't fucking played anybody. Hello? And everyone wants to talk about how easy Texas' schedule is when we played Vanderbilt, who beat a then-ranked number 1 Alabama. We beat an Arkansas team who beat a then-ranked number 4 undefeated Tennessee Volunteers. Right? And we're about to play a Kentucky team that just beat Ole Miss and took Georgia 13-12 down to the wire. So the whole Texas's ranking, strength of schedule ain't showing up is so bullshit. It's like, it's incomprehensible. I truly believe that the people on the college football committee board do not watch football. And many people around the country who chime in on it also don't watch football. Y'all literally have no idea what the hell y'all are talking about. But I digress. We're going to get away from college football playoff talk because really, none of that shit matters as long as Texas goes in every single week and handles their business. We have 2 weeks left in this season. Can y'all believe that? 2 weeks left. In this regular season, I should say. We are coming to a close very, very quickly. It's insane, to be honest with you. This is our last week before we have to go and take down little brother. And I feel like this is going to be a game where in the past, maybe Texas teams would overlook a game like this against a Kentucky team ranked 4-6 or record 4-6. You know, not the most explosive team, not the best looking offensively, yada yada yada, XYZ. I feel like this is a Texas team that maybe would have overlooked them at some point in the past, in past teams. Not this one. This team every week feels locked in the moment. It feels like they're locked in every single week. And I know that's not, listen to me when I say this, being locked in does not mean that you're going to go and score 50 points every fucking game. You can be locked in and still skate away with a 17-13 win. Okay? Like, being locked in does not mean you're just going to go in and put up hella points and shut everybody out and none of that. Any other foolish thinking that people might have out there. They're locked in, and when I mean that, they are not looking to the next week. They are locked in on this game. They're worried about taking care of this game, and they do that every single week. So I trust that they're going to be fully focused, fully locked into Kentucky. It is going to be interesting to see what Kentucky does to combat this Texas offense. Again, I fully believe, and I would not be surprised to see Kentucky come out in a 3-high look. It would actually surprise me more if they don't. Because that has been the recipe to beat Sark's offense over the past 2 to 3 seasons. From the Big 12 to the SEC. And you don't see it as much in the SEC because the SEC is a line of scrimmage league. Right? So they're putting four linemen down on the line of scrimmage. You know, trying to put three linebackers in the box. It was mostly seen, I should say, in the Big 12 because the Big 12 is such a pass-happy, high output, high octane offense league. And so the defenses needed something to combat that, so they put 3 high safeties in the back to give you a blanket coverage over the top. So you can't beat over the top. They force you to win underneath. Now, the good thing for Texas is that we have all the components. We have the players to beat them underneath. We have the tight end that can get open underneath. We have the running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield. But again, it's truly all going to be determined, much like many of these games are, in the trenches, at the line of scrimmage, and in the run game first. Texas, Steve Sarkisian has got to establish the run game. And when I say establish the run, I don't mean you got to run it up Deion Walker's ass every fucking play. You don't got to run right behind Jake Majors, right? Get these buck sweeps. I say this every single week, I feel like. The buck sweeps, the outside zones, the sweeps, whatever you got to do, get those linemen to the second level and let your big athletes up front take on these smaller guys in the second level and let your running backs make plays in open field. We got to get Isaiah Bond into the mix. His speed is deadly. And the reason, but that will all be predicated by us taking care of things in the run game. If we can get the run game established, every single person, every single wide receiver we have will get open downfield. Every single one. I promise you. It starts up front. It starts in the run game. Hopefully we don't see Sark come out with the one run, then one deep shot downfield immediately, and then now we're at 3rd and 8 and we got to punt the ball away. Run the ball 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a row if you have to, because we have the team that can do it. We have the guys up front that can do it. We have these big monstrous motherfuckers up front. Let them do what they're supposed to do, right? we'll see. I think it is going to just be paramount for Sark to not abandon the run early. That will also allow Quinn to get in a good groove. The offensive line is going to have to. They're going to be tasked with holding up against this D line that is very, very good. They're not the best, and they're probably not the best that we have seen or will see for the rest of the season, but they are very good. They are not pushovers. They are not weak up front. Their up front play is their strength on the defensive side. So the offensive line for Texas is going to be tasked with stopping a formidable front. I think they'll answer the call. I think we have the guys up front to do it. I think we have a very united front. They are very good at communicating, and they've gotten better as the season has gone. Now, that's not to say they don't make mistakes. They do. All teams make mistakes. All players, they're only human, right? And they're young kids at that point as well. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think that Kentucky will probably keep this game really close, say for the first 2, maybe 3 quarters. I think it still remains true that as the game wears on, Texas will get better because we have more depth, we have bigger, faster, stronger players, and we have more of them, right? So as the game wears on, one team is naturally going to get more tired, more worn out than the other, and we're going to be the team that doesn't, right? So I think towards the end of the game, we start to pull away with it. I would not be surprised to see this be a 14 to 17 point win, if not more. If we can get going early, if we can hit some deep shots down the field early, if we can establish the run that opens up the deep shots down the field early, I think we can pull away with it early. I wouldn't also be surprised to see this game be much like the Florida game, where we're going into halftime 28-3, 28-6, something like that, and then kind of hit cruise control from there. I wouldn't be surprised, but I also wouldn't bet on it, if that makes sense, right? But we'll see. We'll see what the game plan is. We don't have to wait too long. That is the only good thing. Again, we are less than 24 hours away. We'll have an answer to all of these questions, and we will see how important is the final season or final week of the season going to be. Not to say that this week isn't important. Every week is important. But the final week of the season is going to be the most anticipated renewal of a rivalry in Texas football history. Like, literally. A&M. That is the rivalry. Man, fuck Oklahoma. Man, fuck Arkansas. All of that. A&M. That's in-state little brother. That's one we're going to go take care of. And we're going to shatter, absolutely obliterate their college football playoff hopes. I cannot wait. But we got to get past this game first. So hopefully we can do that, and hopefully we can do it in emphatic fashion. So all of the Quinn haters and everybody that's excited that Quinn may be leaving and entering the draft after the season can shut the hell up and appreciate the fact that we have a quarterback who has taken us to a Big 12 championship, a playoff appearance, and likely to take us to an SEC championship and thus another playoff appearance 2 years in a row. One of the best quarterbacks in Texas football history, literally. People don't realize it. Quinn, if you're watching, I got you, man. I see you. I see the work you put in. And me, for one, this could be his very last home game ever in a Texas Longhorns uniform. I'm going to relish it. I'm going to appreciate the fact that he came in and really revamped a team that, let's say what it is, was struggling. We're in ICU on a deathbed, and it felt like nobody was coming to try and save us. And here comes Steve and Quinn Ewers and this class, and it's been a crazy, wonderful, beautiful ride, and I'm just excited. I'm excited for how this season is going to finish up. Anyways, that's going to do it for me, guys. Before I let you get out of here, I guess I'll give y'all a prediction. My prediction is going to be that Texas will win this game in emphatic fashion, 31-13. They're going to make it look good. Crossing my fingers. If it's wrong, just understand that my predictions are never wrong. I cannot help that players and coaches ruin the scores. That's not my fault. 31-13, heard it here first. I'm going to let you guys get out of here. If you made it to this point in the video, please do me a favor. If you aren't already, hit that subscribe button. At least do me the favor, smacking a like, getting that video out to the YouTube algorithm. It's all about the algorithm these days. Turn on the notification bell so that you never miss anything that we have coming for you. Because remember, no matter where you look, there's no better place than Mo Better Sports for your latest Texas football takes. I'm your host, Antonio, a.k.a. Mr. Mo Better, and I am out. Peace and hook 'em.